Hertz, Avis, Budget, Europcar, Thrifty, and Juicy. 6 rental companies all naming the same 647-kilometer gravel track as a prohibited route. The Gibb River Road has recorded 7 deaths since 1993 and sustains an entire rescue economy of tow operators, tire crews, and emergency shelters for stranded drivers. The contracts call it excluded. The question is what happens to the travelers who ignore that exclusion. The major rental companies operating in Australia classify the Gibb River Road as a financial liability rather than a test of mechanical engineering. Standard contracts draw a sharp line between what a 4-wheel drive vehicle is physically capable of doing and what the rental agreement legally permits. In the fine print of national agreements, Hertz, Thrifty, and Juicy enforce strict boundaries. Europcar bars travel on any unsealed road longer than 500 meters, while Juicy caps unpaved driving at 12 kilometers. Avis and Budget restrict their fleets on the Gibb entirely, unless renters secure written, dry season approval. These terms operate exactly like insurance exclusions. Entering the route without explicit authorization immediately voids damage protection, leaving the driver personally responsible for the entire value of the vehicle, alongside any recovery fees. While local northern franchises and specialist Outback providers sometimes write custom contracts that permit the crossing, the national brands maintain a strict barrier. This policy prioritizes financial risk management over vehicle capability. The Gibb River Road spans 647 kilometers across the remote Kimberley region of Western Australia, connecting the coastal town of Derby with Kununurra. Named after geologist explorer Andrew Gibb Maitland, this corridor is not a standard highway. Main Roads Western Australia manages it as an inherited piece of working infrastructure, running through sandstone plateaus and savanna woodland. Its origins date back to the late 1940s under the federal government's Beef Road scheme. Construction on the western portion began in 1950, costing over £700,000 by its completion in 1956. The road initially linked remote cattle stations like Glenroy directly to the shipping gates of Derby, bypassing the need for slow traditional droving. The builders designed the track specifically for heavy road trains and agricultural logistics, prioritizing basic transit over passenger comfort. The route still follows the same unsealed layout established decades ago. By the late 1990s, the road's purpose changed. 4-wheel drive enthusiasts, travel publications, and state marketing campaigns began promoting the Kimberley's remote gorges. What was once a rough industrial artery for pastoralists quickly became a bucket list destination for international backpackers and domestic tourists. Today, the route is widely considered one of Australia's most demanding unsealed tracks. Yet this reputation creates a persistent tension. The growing popularity of the route has outpaced many travellers' understanding of its design. Tourists often set out expecting a recreational highway, unaware that they are driving on an active cattle route built for heavy machinery. The growing volume of tourist traffic now tests a corridor that was never engineered for them, setting up a physical trial that begins the moment the bitumen ends. Severe corrugations form repeated washboard ridges across the track, transmitting sustained vibrations through tires, suspension, and underbody components that can shake a standard vehicle apart over long distances. Thick layers of loose gravel cover the track, reducing braking and steering confidence, particularly when excessive speed removes any remaining margin for error. Potholes and sharp, exposed rocks deliver concentrated impacts, threatening wheels, steering rods, and oil pans even on seemingly manageable stretches. Grading occurs only 3 to 4 times a year, leaving a changing mix of recently smoothed dirt and heavily deteriorated stretches. Sudden local flash flooding can rapidly alter a passable section with almost no warning, while daytime temperatures regularly exceed 45 degrees Celsius, adding severe thermal stress to engines, tires, and drivers. These individual mechanical and climatic pressures do not act alone. High heat softens tire rubber, making it vulnerable to sharp stone punctures, while continuous vibration weakens structural joints, reducing a driver's ability to correct on loose gravel. This cumulative strain, rather than any single road defect, explains why rental agreements ban the route. The ultimate consequence of these combined pressures is measured not in metal, but in lives. Since 1993, 7 documented deaths have occurred along the route. While this figure cannot establish a comparative safety ranking against other remote tracks without traffic volume data, it represents the real cost of preparation failure. These fatalities do not stem from any single road defect. Instead, they reflect a chain of decisions that begins long before a crisis occurs. A driver underestimates the terrain, lacks the necessary recovery gear, or misjudges a bend on loose gravel. In the Kimberley, isolation changes a mechanical breakdown from an inconvenience into a survival situation. When a vehicle is immobilized, communication gaps and massive distances mean emergency services can take hours or days to arrive. A single misjudgment removes the options for self-recovery, letting delay and heat compound the emergency. Tow operators based in Derby and Kununurra run a steady business throughout the dry season. Recovering a disabled vehicle requires traveling hundreds of kilometers over corrugated dirt. Stranded drivers frequently wait hours or days in 45-degree heat before assistance arrives. Near the road's midpoint, over-the-range tire and mechanical repairs operates on UHF Channel 40, sustained by the constant demand for specialist puncture support. Stranded travelers who cannot safely continue often seek shelter at a local emergency campground, which serves as a critical safety net rather than ordinary tourist lodging. When renters breach their agreements by entering the Gibb, the financial exposure is immediate. Standard roadside assistance is voided, leaving drivers personally liable for recovery, towing, and repair costs. A single long-distance tow back to a major town can easily exceed $20,000. This active rescue economy is the most visible proof of the road's physical toll on vehicles, exposing the heavy price of starting the journey unprepared. From December through April, the question of vehicle preparation or driver experience becomes entirely moot. During the northern wet season, Main Roads Western Australia officially closes the Gibb River Road. This is not a travel warning, it is a total physical shutdown. Tropical downpours transform dry riverbeds into rapid muddy torrents, completely severing the transit corridor. Floodwaters wash out road surfaces, undermine river crossings, and isolate entire sections from both directions. No amount of four-wheel drive capability or off-road modification can bypass these official closures. The road remains off-limits until the wet season ends, allowing maintenance crews to assess damage, drain the floodways, stabilize crossings, and rebuild the gravel base. The ultimate test of this seasonal volatility lies ahead, at the corridor's most notorious waterway, the Pentecost River crossing. The Gibb River Road leads directly to its most notorious physical obstacle, the Pentecost River crossing. This waterway spans roughly 30 meters from bank to bank, but its depth constantly shifts based on recent rainfall. Following heavy downpours, the water level easily exceeds 1 meter. Beneath the surface, the riverbed consists of unstable sand and loose gravel that shifts under the vehicle's weight. Even when the water appears shallow and calm, the crossing conceals deep depressions, soft patches, and sudden drop-offs. The Department of Biodiversity, Conservation and Attractions formally classifies this entire river system and its surrounding floodplain as active saltwater crocodile habitat. Official guidelines warn travelers never to swim or wade in these waters. While there are no documented cases of crocodile attacks at the crossing itself, the presence of these predators complicates any recovery effort. For a standard rental company, a vehicle stuck or flooded in this isolated river represents a major logistical problem. Recovery involves more than towing a vehicle from the mud. It requires an expensive operation where shifting riverbeds, changing water levels, and predatory wildlife all increase the risk. Today, the Gibb River Road remains a boundary between planned adventure and raw survival. As tourism pushes deeper into remote Australia, these bans aren't just legal fine print. They are a necessary line of defense. The Kimberley does not compromise. Share your thoughts below.